Hello, Gestaltung, Darstellung, Digital students. I hope you got on okay last time with lesson 6, creating your element within 3D in Rhinoceros. Presuming that we're now all at this stage where we've got a design, we now want to be able to take a plan, a section, sectional elevation, and isometric from this 3D model. And I'm going to talk you through the steps on how to do that. Just briefly, I've restructured my layers, making it clearer and more simple. I suggest that you do the same. I put all my Entwerf layers on Entwerf. I put all the city 3D layers on Stad 3D, and the same for Stad 2D. Ignore null. That's not an important layer. Once you've done that, I suggest that you duplicate your original model because some of the processes that we're going to be doing might alter the structure or be destructive to your model. So make sure that you duplicate or save as, file, duplicate, Shift Command S. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, and I've renamed it with today's date. Schlesisches Tor 3D plan. So we're going to make copies for each plan, section, elevation, and isometric. So go ahead and duplicate that. Once you've done that and renamed it, then we're going to begin. So we're going to take, the first thing we're going to do is take a plan line drawing using the make 2D command. And we're going to use the make 2D command for all processes of converting 3D data into a DWG line drawing. So the first thing we need to do for our plan drawing is to select our viewport. So what exactly extent do we want to see in this model? And what I have selected here seems about okay. I see the full square of Schlesisches Tor, and I see some contextual buildings. So we're going to crop this later, so make sure you actually choose a wider extent than will be necessary in the final. So to add a view, come down to your camera option view here and select plus. We're going to name that simply plan. Now that's created me a view, so every time I zoom out or change the view, it will take me back to that same view every time. It's quite a useful thing to do. So now we've got our view selected, we now want to generate make 2D lines from this. So in order to do that, with our view selected, I'm going to type in the command cell window. Enter. Cell window. Enter. Drag a window to select objects. So simply drag a box from one corner of your window to the other, and it will select every object within that window. Make sure, okay, just pause a second. Make sure that you have 2D off, the layer 2D Stad, and all the other layers that you do not need switched off. So we just have Entwerf and 3D selected. My Entwerf layer is like so. All right, so let's do that again. Window, cell, window. Drag from one end of the viewport to the opposite corner. There we go, it's selected all of our objects that we would like, or most of them. Some have been left out. Any objects that have been left out in that selection, you can simply just go ahead and select in your boundary. Maybe the surface here. Everything should turn yellow once it's been selected. Okay, so that's everything that I want to be drawn with the Make 2D command selected. So now, what I suggest you do first is just group that selection. So Command G to group. So if we need to select it again, it's much quicker. Then type the command Make 2D with your selection on, and it will give you these options. So current view, which we have down here, selected as plan. Show viewport rectangle. That's only applicable to perspective views, so well, we'll keep it on, but it doesn't mean anything at this stage. Maintain source layers. Yes, we want that because we want the lines to be edited on their individual layers. We're going to do this Make 2D in two phases, one with trees and one without trees. So actually what we're going to do first is do exactly the same selection with our tree layer turned off. So go ahead and turn the trees off. Make sure we have plan view. Yeah, and we're going to do a window selection, cell window with the trees switched off this time. Drag a window to select objects, like so. That didn't work. And it didn't work that time. Oh, okay, well, we grouped everything last time, so we can simply select with the group. Select everything and go ahead and type in the command Make 2D. Make 2D. Okay. Now this sometimes takes quite some processing for the computer. Be patient, give it a minute or two. It'll say creating 2D drawing, and eventually it will finish processing and it will say Make 2D. So we're just going to wait until that process is done. We've selected quite a lot of geometry in this window, so it could be that it takes rather a long time. There we go. Command Make 2D, it's worked. So we're going to check that it worked by simply going to the Zoom Selected command. Zoom Selected, and there we have it. That's our 2D plan graphic DWG as line work on the C-plane. So everything here is on the floor of the C-plane. If I come to my view, and I say selected perspective, and same for front, and same for right. You can see that everything in this Make 2D command is now on the C-plane. It's flat. It's a flat drawing, which is what we want. So now we're going to do the same process for the trees, and then we're going to align the trees with this plan graphic here. So let's zoom extents. Come to our plan. 3D, and this time we're going to turn trees on. we're going to select the trees actually. Select objects on layer. So to do that, you simply right click and select objects on layer. Oh, I have a sublayer, so make sure that you do that command with the right sublayer selected. Select objects on layer. That's selected all my trees. I want to make sure that I have the same viewport selected as last time. So I've double clicked my plan. And I also need a reference point. So when it makes a 2D drawing, the trees come to exactly the right place and we can move them to the right place. So I'm going to use this building, but first I have to ungroup everything. And I'm going to use, select trees again. Select objects on layer. I'm going to use this building as my reference. And I'm simply going to type the command make 2D again with these selection options selected. Okay, and this should process a lot quicker this time. It has less to configure. All right, that should have worked. So we go to zoom, selected. And now you see it's generating me trees, but I don't see the center point of each tree. That's a problem. We want to see the center point of each tree. For that, we're going to have to select another option in our Make 2D options. So come back to your drawing. This time, select the trees. Select objects on layer and zoom to the window. This time when you type in the Make 2D command, make sure you have Show Hidden Lines. But before we do that, we want to hide all the other information underneath those trees. So we want to invert that selection by hitting the command invert and hide, the command hide, but we don't want to hide this building, so we're going to deselect that building from that selection and type in the command hide. Hide. There we go. So now we've got the trees and that building as part of a selection. So go ahead and select everything. You can, and this time in your Windows, say Command All, and type in the command Make 2D again. Make 2D. This time we want to show hidden lines because we want to see the stem of the tree. So select that and OK. Okay, that should have done. Zoom selected. There we go, and now we have the center point of the trees because it's showing us the hidden line. We have a sphere, and then we also have the stem of the tree underneath the sphere that we can see. And we also have the reference building selected. I'm just going to go ahead and group, after every Make 2D command, just group all your objects so you have them together to make it easier to select. And now type in the command show and we'll see the rest of the graphic appear. We can actually go ahead and group these objects as well. It's easier to do this straight after the Make 2D command. Because then everything will be selected. Move this with project selected. Project is on. Choose a reference point. I'm going to choose this center of this building. I'm going to move it over to this reference point here, which is the center of the building. And there we go. We've got our trees in position. And what's great about the Make 2D command is it's maintained all the layers for all the line work, so we don't have to worry about reselecting. We don't have to worry about everything being on one layer, basically. Okay, that's it for the plan. So we're going to select all the Make2D objects. So that's trees and plan. And then we're going to File and Export Selected. I suggest you make a folder within your a folder within your filing system with the date of today. So let's make a new folder. Today's date. And we're going to call this folder Make2D DWG. Create. And we're going to rename this. Actually, no, we'll keep it the same because we've already renamed it in our data. Here, Rhino 5 3D model. No, we want to save that as a AutoCAD drawing. So that's an AutoCAD drawing DWG. Options, you'll have this option. I always have 2004 polylines selected and export. Okay, export. Export. Great, so that's now file successfully written. So that means it's completed the export process. We now have a DWG for our plan. Thanks for watching. I'll explain section elevation, and isometric in the following videos. See you later.